Good evening, family. Good evening to the people of Earth. Let me make sure that everything is going good. Let me make sure that everything is running. I'm joining you guys from inside the back of a car tonight. And that's because I am traveling and I am hanging out with somebody for Thanksgiving, my girlfriend. And basically right now, like, this is like the best way for me to go ahead and get you guys the crypto news. And, you know, it means that the news is so relevant that we have to talk about this like every day. So much good stuff coming at us all the time. So let me just go ahead and try to make sure that everything is up here. Boom. How's everybody doing tonight? Is everybody good? Checking to make sure the chat's going. There we go. These chat apps are so complex now that I'm looking at them like on these different platforms here. Okay, now it looks like it's actually working. Cool. Alright, guys. So, welcome to Sovereign Starseed. This is my show where I like to end up talking about the crypto news every day. Every night at 10 p.m. we try to talk about some relevant crypto news. We also try to end up talking about just things that are going on within sovereignty, because that's a huge proponent of what's going to help the people of Earth be able to take back Earth in an honorable fashion. And then not only that, we also like to talk about spirituality here on this channel too. So love having fun with that. And this is definitely an open forum. So we usually like to start off with talking about the news, and then we'll end up kind of getting into like a little bit of like questions if you guys want to talk about that, anything like that. So anyways, first of all, I just wanted to go ahead and say, that like our channel is like, we started off with I started doing like crypto investing like a long time ago. And then I wanted to end up making it happen on this channel here. And so every once in a while, I like to end up talking about some investing. And then right now, here's a really good article that that Cointelegraph had put out, and it's about 5 tips for new Bitcoin investors. And it was an article that I just went across today, and I just want to go ahead and give it to you guys as well, just so that way you guys can see that this is actually some pretty good information, and it's set up in a pretty concise way, so that way you'll be able to just make some good decisions really fast with it. All right, so check this out. So Cointelegraph is talking about this. So these are 5 tips for new investors. And, going into cryptocurrencies, it can be confusing. It can be overwhelming. It can be you can feel like you're so left in the dark on this type of stuff. And you know what, guys, it's okay. What I can say is that I've definitely been in your shoes before, and I am here to help. So, and it's my duty and it's my pleasure to help. So, a lot of these things that we'll be reading about in here are practices that I'm putting into place already, and some might be common sense, but just it's good for us to remind ourselves of these things, because we're playing around in a realm where there is no central authority. There isn't anybody where you can go and try to get a refund on some of your cryptocurrencies. So you got to make sure that you're making very deliberate and conscious actions when you're doing this. So let's go ahead and go over some of these tips right now. First of all, as a new investor, make sure that you do your homework. There's plenty of hype, rumor, success stories, and tales of horror when it comes to Bitcoin and other digital currencies. Make sure you understand exactly what you're getting into, and don't risk more money than you can afford to lose. Bitcoin is an exciting world to be in, but it is one that is complex and confusing if you only enter it on hype. Many people buy expensive cars not knowing how the engine works, and that is fine, because if it breaks, there are mechanics and garages. In the cryptocurrency world, it is you against the world. It is decentralized, and there is no one to hold your hand. So the more you understand, the better off you'll be. And what I can say, guys, is that, following this channel, You're going to definitely stay abreast of the knowledge and the news that's happening in the cryptocurrency industry, as well as you'll be able to follow some of my investment moves if you subscribe. So I'm going to start setting this up so that way people that want to end up learning a little bit deeper about like what the moves that I'm making for my cryptocurrency investments, just go ahead and subscribe, because then I'm going to make some videos that are available just to the subscribers. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead and go a little bit further here. Next, one of the really, like here's some other really good ones. If you have any technical bent whatsoever, take 10 minutes to leaf through the original 2008 Satoshi white paper. It's only 8 pages, legible, and an inspiring work of genius. And the white paper for Bitcoin is a great place to start with understanding your understanding what cryptocurrency is, and helping you make good decisions with this. So definitely make sure that you check out that paper. Shoot, it's only 8 pages. Shouldn't end up taking very long. You don't even end up having to have like, you don't have, it's not rocket science. It is technical, but it's not rocket science. So I would definitely say, guys, just take a look at it, look into it a little bit. And, if you have any questions on this type of stuff, that's what this chat is for. So go ahead and make sure that you're popping it out in the chat. And then, we could definitely talk about this, because it's something that I want to make sure that we're all aware of before we move forward with spending money in a realm that you can't get refunds on. So it's something that's very important. Make sure that, you're just doing your homework on it. Second, be cautious. There is still an extremely high risk. This is still an extremely high risk space. Don't invest money you can't afford to lose. Start small and invest a small portion of your capital. Don't chase Bitcoin prices. Decide on an entry point and stick with it. With Bitcoin, you're almost always right in terms of foreseeable price action. It's your timing that might be off. So be patient and let the Bitcoin price come to you. This is one that I halfway agree with. What I could say is that I've definitely used to end up waiting for the Bitcoin price to go to a certain area before I would buy in, and now I'm pretty much just buy in. It's just gonna go up, so like you might as well just buy in. It's not gonna be a bad thing to buy in right now. It's not even gonna be a bad thing to buy in at 10,000. So I'm still gonna be doing that. Things like dollar cost averaging, putting the same amount of money into an investment at the same time each week or month, is great for Bitcoin, as it helps you ride out the lows as well as the highs. So this article right here, like I was saying, guys, Cointelegraph, they are preaching the same message that I've preached on this channel before. And I've actually done my last investor, no, not the last one, but the one before that, was the video about dollar cost averaging. And if you guys want to know more about this, just look through my previous videos, and I'll show you. I already did an explainer video on how you can set this up to automatically buy for you through Coinbase. So definitely take a look at the previous videos, because there's an awesome way for you to be able to buy in without having the emotions that come with it, without being like, oh, did I buy in too high? Did I buy in too low? Or, when it was that low, did I buy in with enough? You won't have to worry about those questions if you do things like dollar cost averaging. It takes out the emotion there for you. So that's definitely something that's good. If you want to know more about this, just check the previous videos. Third, diversify effectively. It says hedge against volatility and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Much like investing in the stock market or foreign exchange, you should diversify your funds as a risk management technique. So I agree with that. And that's something that, I've been talking about as well is, I don't just have my funds in any one company. And that was always my investment strategy from the beginning. And it was just always to make sure that, there isn't any one company that if it goes down, I'm not going to be hurting too much. And that's the whole thing that I want to back up with this statement here, is that I have definitely diversified my funds, and I'm trying to diversify them even further. I'm actually starting to ask myself the question of, is there such thing as too much diversification? Is that possible? So it's a good question I'm exploring right now, and we'll see what the results are. So second or fourth, keep coins off the exchanges. So yeah, basically, Matthew Unger, CEO and founder of iComply Investor Services, says, just like you keep some cash in your wallet, some in your bank account, and perhaps the really valuable stuff in a safe, you need to manage digital currencies in the same way. So this is basically talking about how a lot of people have been burned on the exchange hacks, none more so than the major Mt. Gox one, but even recently, things like BTCE and the charges against their CEO would have caused many people to lose out on huge amounts of money. So that's actually something that I want to get into that's really important to me here, is that keep your coins off the exchanges is something that is pretty important to do, because you want to make sure that these exchanges don't go down with your coins. And let me just go ahead and kind of read something here, because this is like pretty much the most important part that I wanted to talk about in the show tonight, and that's basically about the Tether cryptocurrency. So I'm going to end up bringing that up here in just a moment. But yeah, let me just go ahead and get through the next thing here. So keep your coins off the exchanges, guys, just because the exchanges, they can shut down. They have shut down in the past, and they've taken a lot of people's coins with them. And I will show you later on in this broadcast right here how to look for, and I'm going to actually explain a story on how to kind of see how these types of things happen. And this one right here with Mt. Gox, I'm going to explain exactly how that happened and how that's mirroring something that's happening right now in the cryptocurrency market, so that way you guys can make sure that you're not involved in that. So 4, keep your coins off the exchanges. Got you. Fifth, get ready for a wild ride. And that is the truth, guys. What I would say is that I worked at places before where our corporate culture was embrace the adventure, and that's what I'll say here, baby. Embrace the adventure. It is going to go down, the price is going to go up, the price is going to go sideways, and putting your emotions into it is just not productive. It's not going to do anybody any good, and the price is going to be volatile. And now there are 2 types of mindsets when we talk about volatility: people that favor it and people that don't. People that don't favor it, I understand where you come from, and I understand why you think this way. And with all of the investments on the planet that we've had thus far, I can completely understand why, if you don't like the volatility of Bitcoin, why you would be scared at trying to get in right now. And these are usually the people that are saying, oh, Silky, hey, the price just goes way too high. It goes way too low. It's not stable. I don't know, like if I end up buying into Bitcoin today with $1,000 and the price goes way down tomorrow, if that $1,000 is then going to turn into $500 just because it's so volatile, and now I can't pay my bills with the Bitcoin that I bought yesterday. So I understand that. What I would like to say and challenge is that the volatility, I'm part of the other mindset where I love the volatility right now, and I absolutely love when the price goes up and when the price goes way back down, because it gives me lots of opportunities to capitalize. So I fully will expect that this volatility is going to diminish, especially as a lot of this big money starts to come into the market. But as it is right now, I just think that it's amazing. And, following and subscribing, turning on those post notifications, you'll be able to end up following my moves on this, and you'll be able to make some money too on the volatility as well, if you want to end up following those moves. So, that's something that's good. I will say this too, is that I haven't gotten away unscathed. I've definitely lost some money, within the Bitcoin market. I'm not ashamed to say that, but it was all a great learning lesson. So was it really a loss? It's what I ask myself. So these are just really some things that you guys want to know, because when I look back at my trading and stuff like that, and what I've been doing with investing in cryptocurrencies, I absolutely agree with this. This is a wild ride. There have been nights that I've stayed up until the sun has come up, moving different funds from different exchanges, different wallets, different whatevers, and putting them all into some other project right away, right before the project closes, in order to participate in something that's amazing. So, this is definitely a wild ride. It's going to end up going up and down and sideways as the earth starts to adopt this technology. I would just say, can you expect this to be a smooth ride? Can you expect our planet and our species to adopt a completely new currency and a completely new way of looking at centralization, and have that be completely smooth? If you think it's going to be completely smooth, you're going to be in for a rough ride. So that's just some things that I wanted to end up saying to you guys, is that these are some really good tips here. And if you want to discuss these further, come on, talk in the chat, message me, direct message me up on Twitter, up on Instagram, whatever. And we'll talk more about it, man. because it's definitely something that, I want to make sure that everybody knows before they get into these things, because you should feel confident as you get into these things. Okay, next, I just wanted to kind of talk about something that is kind of a little bit off of what I normally report on, but I'll just say this, is that Ethereum has just hit $400, and this is going to be amazing. So basically, it has passed the $400 threshold, and this is the first time since its inception that it has gone this far. And definitely, you guys, like, I would definitely end up saying that Ethereum is not done. I was just talking to some people earlier today where I was in a garage where their whole garage was full of Ethereum miners. So there's a lot of people gearing up to help out with this. Let me make sure that y'all can see me still. There we go. Just making sure that the light works. So, Ethereum is going up in its price. I don't expect this to stop. I expect Ethereum to go up, but I don't expect it to be as drastic or dramatic as Bitcoin. The reason why? Oh, man. I'm going to have to, keep on turning the light on here. Okay. So basically, I don't think that the Ethereum price is going to shoot up as high as Bitcoin, and the reason why is just because the purpose of it is different. And so Ethereum has a different purpose, and Ethereum's purpose isn't purely for capital. It just has more purpose. It's more for programming. It's more for setting out a foundation. And when you have a vehicle like Ethereum that is set up for a foundation and not purely for money, then you're not going to see it go as high as Bitcoin. So that's just something that's interesting to know, but also something that's really good to know is that it already has broken through the $400 mark, and it's still going to continue to climb. So, hey, hint, hint, I'm picking up some Ethereum myself, and I would suggest other people to pick up some Ethereum as well. If you want to know how to do that, you have questions on that, shoot the kid a message. You already know. So, next, on CoinDesk, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about how the Central Bank of Malaysia plans cryptocurrency reporting rules. So the governor of Malaysia's central bank has provided more detail on its upcoming regulatory framework aimed to counter the illicit uses of cryptocurrencies. Basically, Ibrahim what's his name? Mohammed Ibrahim has basically stated, this is to prevent the abuse of the system for criminal and unlawful activities and ensuring the stability and integrity of the financial system. So what I could say with this is that he says, although the governor did not reveal a precise timeline for finalizing the new regulations, it has been drafting the plan since last September. So this is important. Very important. Why? Because Malaysia is the first, in my eyes, from the news that I'm reading right now, it's the first country to stand up and try to adopt Bitcoin in a healthy way that is attractive for everyone. Is it perfect? No. It still has lots of work. Is it a step in the right direction? Yes. And that's what's important. So basically what I can say is that the Central Bank of Malaysia is now going to start to produce these reports that are going to talk about the state of cryptocurrency, or the state of the Bitcoin network is kind of the way that you can see these reports. I don't know, fully about this yet. I'm just going off of speculation, but this is just my prediction. And, loosely on that, I can say that they're going to release these reports, and then other countries are going to follow suit. Other countries are going to be like, oh my gosh, Malaysia, they got the rules, they're reporting, let's follow the template for them. And then other places are going to do it. I expect Singapore, and I expect a few of these other places that have very forward-thinking politicians to adopt this first. And then the places that are very closed-minded and are still banning and don't understand the cryptocurrencies, they're going to be the ones to adopt this type of reporting policy last. So good job, Malaysia. Y'all stepped in first. Y'all got it. And y'all are getting the reporting rules on par. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. The reason why right now is because it says this is to prevent the abuse of the system for criminal and lawful activities and ensuring the stability and integrity of the financial system. What I can say is, we don't need to end up having the reports for this. We can just look at the blockchain and we can educate ourselves on the criminal and unlawful activities. Now, if you were to end up saying this is to detail the progress of medical advancements in cancer and AIDS and other incurable diseases and ensure the stability and the integrity of the information that's being produced by the scientists, now we can talk. Now that's different. And so, like, what I'm trying to say is that, like, we have to come at this in a very beautiful way. It should not be in a way to be looking at people like they're bad. It shouldn't be looking at unlawful things. Unlawful things are going to happen. But we shouldn't be having to pay attention so much to them because they're going to automatically take care of themselves with the blockchain. Satoshi knew this. Satoshi knew this, and that's why he created this, man. He's not stupid. So, or they're not stupid, you know, depending on what you think. So take a look at that. So Malaysia, first person to step up, first country to step up, first entity to try to end up making some reporting rules. I definitely think this is the beginning of how all governments are going to start to use this. This is the first. They are setting the precedent. So good job, Malaysia. Got thumbs up from Sovereign Starseed right here. It's kind of halfway though, because we still got to posture this a little bit better to make sure that we're doing this for the benefit of the planet and not to catch people. We got to stop getting away from that mindset of catching people, man. We're never going to get out. We're never going to get out of this vibration that we're in right now if we're still looking at trying to catch people all the time. Okay. So, yes. Next, this is pretty interesting. JP Morgan. This is coming out by Wall Street Journal today. So they're one of those, you got to pay attention to them, newspapers. And JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon has said that if any of the bank's trainers, he would fire them in a second. If he caught anybody that was working for him trading Bitcoin, that he would fire them in a second because it was a fraud and it was supporting terrorism and it was supporting money laundering. Well, guess what? James Dimon, is his legal name, is now being sued for money laundering and market manipulation, due to saying that Bitcoin was a fraud and in the same day going and making a huge purchase of Bitcoin. And so now this is pretty interesting that this article is coming out by Wall Street Journal. He says that isn't stopping the bank from looking at business opportunities in the planned Bitcoin futures market. CME Group is planning to launch Bitcoin futures by the end of this year. And JP Morgan is basically getting calls left and right now from their customers, from their own customers saying, I want you to buy Bitcoin for me. And I think that is fucking brilliant. So you guys, that's something that we should be paying attention to. And, this is beautiful. So JP Morgan can't avoid Bitcoin, whether he wants to or not, whether he wants to publicly talk bad about it and lower the price on it. If that's his true sentiment, which I don't think it is, and we already know it's not, then, this is pretty interesting how it's backfiring. And I don't think that this is the last. I think that we're going to see other people that have spoken bad about this technology go back on what they've said. So just interesting news. Wanted to point that out. Next, I just wanted to point out that Citigroup is making its position on Bitcoin, and it's favorable. So now it's turning, it's following the script. I can't remember what I reported on Citigroup last time, but this isn't the first time I reported on Citigroup. And Citigroup, I think they have been favorable towards Bitcoin the whole time. But yeah, Michael Corbett recently sat down and conducted an interview in New York that said, you won't hear us be dismissive in terms of the nascent technology because it's real and there is something there. Governments aren't going to take lightly other people coming in and potentially disrupting their abilities around data, around tax collection, around money laundering, around know your customer. Further, he went on to predict that it's likely that we're going to see governments introduce not cryptocurrencies. I think cryptocurrency is a bad moniker for that, but a digital currency. So now, as you can see, what they're going to do is they're going to start to change the words, and they're going to start to adopt and make up words of their own that are synonymous to words that are already out there, words that they've created, and words that they have the power of using the definitions of and putting that into their legal systems. Guys, I want to make sure that the people of Earth make sure that we are very, very cautious of powerful people trying to use their words for the same technologies and trying to tell people what words to use for digital currencies, especially since, you know, we've been in longer. If you've been following this channel, we've been in longer than Citigroup on this thing. And so like Citigroup coming in and trying to say what we should call this is pretty interesting. It's kind of like on the last day of school, you get a new student and the new student comes in and they're all like, wait a second, I know how this school runs. We're going to do recess like this. And in fact, we're not going to call it recess. We're going to call it outside time. And you guys will be looking at the new kid on the last day of school like, oh, what? This is the last day of school and you're new. So, okay, you call it what you want. We're going to call it Bitcoin. We're going to call it recess. So just wanted to say that, you guys, just because it's very important for us to remember that our words are what is unlocking us. It's making us either more noble or less noble. So we got to make sure that we're aware of the words that we're using and aware of the words that they're trying to use and try to see what the intention is behind it. So next, I just wanted to talk about Telegraph. Talked about this, and it basically says our citizens are going digital and global. If the state doesn't keep up, it will become obsolete. This is one of my favorite headlines just because it totally is in a line with Sovereign Starseed and what we're talking about here. And it says, as the president of Estonia, I represent the only truly digital society which actually has a state. Almost all our citizens' interactions with the government, including voting, can be done securely online, and our e-residents can incorporate and run their businesses in Estonia without ever having to set foot here. Seeing this digital revolution up close has made me question whether the state as we know it today is fit for the 21st century. Traditionally, nations have harnessed taxpayers to their territory by making almost all social guarantees dependent on working in one country every day, every month, and for at least 3 decades. In creating free movement of the people, this web has only gotten more complex but never disappeared. It's the same old story of where you live, where you work, equaling where you are entitled to get social benefits. So basically what this is saying is exactly what I've been saying the whole time. Governments are becoming irrelevant, they're becoming obsolete, and it's due to this type of technology, and they're going to struggle and they're going to fight tooth and claw to try to make sure that they are still the controllers and that they're still relevant and that they're still taking care of their people, you know. But there's going to be some forward-thinking governments out there that are going to try to attract people. And this right here, the president of Estonia, is looking very attractive right now because he's speaking on it. He's sitting here saying the exact things that this planet needs and that our people need. He's saying that, like, look, I don't think that our government is fit for cryptocurrencies. I don't think our government is fit to move forward in this world the way that the world is moving. And I fully agree with that. And I love that. And I want other countries to start to take suit and follow the script with this. So let me ask you guys this. What do you think the world will look like when governments start to step back and they go, okay, hold on, citizens, what do you want from us? What can we do to make sure that we are making you happy so you don't leave our country and go over to Estonia where apparently it's a lot easier and a lot nicer? What can we do? What can we do for you? Can we lower things for you? Lower social guarantees? Can we lower these types of things so that it's attractive for you to stay here? That's what governments are going to do. And you know, if they don't, then they're just going to lose their citizens to a country that will. And Estonia is jumping on it. Malaysia is trying to jump on it in a different way. I would like Malaysia and Singapore to get with Estonia. Try to copy some of these techniques. Try to see what they can do and see how they could advance that even further. And as you can see here, President of Estonia, he's not talking about tracking people. He's not talking about illicit affairs, terrorism, all the bad things that we already know happen. He's just basically just trying to help people get everything that they need to securely and digitally. And watch as Estonia starts to progress very fast compared to the other countries with slow systems, slow voting systems, slow electoral systems, slow governments. Just going to see that happen. So, you know, that's something that's very beautiful. Get it, Estonia. You and Malaysia and Singapore right now looking very good. Looking very good. So next, I just wanted to go ahead and say this because I'm not going to shut up until something happens. But yeah, if you haven't already done it, you need to end up contacting your FCC representatives, because they are going to be making a decision in December. And if that decision goes the way that they're saying that they're going to vote on it right now, then you may not be able to see these streams. You may not be able to access the internet. You may need access to the internet when you're in the back of an ambulance someday. And because that ambulance is now dealing with non-net neutral policies, that ambulance now has to wait an extra 15 minutes to get your blood data so that they don't put the wrong medication in you and you don't die. That's complex. That's extreme. That's explicit, I know. But what I'm just trying to tell you is that this world depends on a free internet. It depends on a free internet in ways that I don't even comprehend, in ways that nobody comprehends yet. Because we've all been using this amazing technology very openly and very freely. And if you want to continue to use it, and you want your children to use it, and you want your children to evolve it, you better call the FCC. You better call your senators. I have ways, I have scripts to let you guys do this. It takes less than 5 minutes to do it. And let's make a stink. Let's make a fuss about this. You know what I was thinking about too? Is that there are so many people that are like wanting to do protests and stuff. Why don't we just end up doing, something where it's like we do like some type of digital protest where we end up saying like, look, there is a whole bunch of Twitch streamers that were basically saying that I'm going to end up lowering my bandwidth down to 360p and down to like 180p, so that the quality of the internet gets so crappy, it gets so shitty that everybody will start to understand what the net would be like if it wasn't neutral anymore. And in fact, I might start doing that on this stream just so that you guys can see like, holy crap, why is this quality so bad? Well, this is what the quality is going to be like in the future unless I pay $400 to my internet service provider, who is now the god of the internet. And now they get to end up saying who gets to view what. And that, my friends, is we're living in a very sensitive time right now. So please make sure you let your senators know that net neutrality is close to your heart. It's important, and that we won't shut up until there's something that's going to be done about this. Right now, congressmen are demanding investigation of FCC Chairman Ajit Pai. Ajit Pai is basically, he was a former Verizon attorney who has now been appointed to the head of the FCC. And he is taking huge donations from Verizon, Time Warner, and other internet companies to push this agenda, to tell everybody that, hey, what we need to do is we need to make sure that the internet, you're going to have to pay an extra $10 for a Facebook package, and then another $5 on top of that for an Instagram package, and another $20 on top of that to access the rest of the net. They're going to try to make it that way, guys. And if they do that, then we can say goodbye to all of this amazing innovation that's happening. We won't have to say goodbye to it, but I'll say that the innovation is going to slow down. It's going to slow down so bad that you're going to see innovation happening maybe once every 20, 50 years, something like that. And it's because right now we have the opportunity to make the decision to say, no, I want to keep the internet free and open for all. So right now we have that decision to do it. Let's not look back on this and regret our decisions. Finally, with that, I just wanted to go ahead and speak about that. FCC is expected to repeal net neutrality rules in vote next month. Basically, it's happening on December 15th. And there are 5 people that are voting for the whole internet. And I've already gotten some pictures and stuff like that for some other people, so that way you can see it. And I don't know why my browser's not scrolling right now. Come on. So basically what's happened is that the FCC also received a record-breaking 22 million comments from the public during the feedback period in August. And so what I would say and urge to you guys to do right now is definitely go ahead and make a call, make a stance, because you are alive at a great time right now to end up making sure that our internet is free for our children and for the rest of our species going forward. But our species going forward is going to wonder why they're only reading the same books, why they're only looking at the same information from the same websites, and why the internet is so locked down. And they're going to wonder why their parents, us, didn't do something about it. Let me ask you this. Would they even question that? Would they even know any different? Because now they're being served a curated internet. Just think about it, guys. We even have the option to be conscious to ask this right now. That is grace. That is beautiful. So finally, let me just go ahead and talk to you guys a little bit about the story about Mt. Gox and about a story that's happening right now with the Tether cryptocurrency. And so that way you guys can go ahead and make sure that you're never caught up in any huge scam and where there isn't anything that's ever going to take your money. So this is an amazing message that I got in a chat room earlier where somebody was basically just detailing the whole story of Tether. And it was from Mama Feed. Credit to you. Thank you so much for putting this out. So basically, here's what it says. And I want you guys to know that like what's happening right now is like a couple of days ago, I reported on the Tether cryptocurrency and how Tether has been hacked for over $30 million. And that a whole bunch of the Tether cryptocurrency is frozen right now. So the Tether cryptocurrency is a cryptocurrency that came out and it's supposed to be backed. It's not supposed to be backed. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be, its price is always supposed to be $1 US. So it's supposed to be a currency that was created to be worth $1 at all times. I've used this currency to lock in some of my profits, but let me just tell you why I'm not going to be using it in the future and why you guys need to be paying attention to these exchanges. And also, if you have any currency on Bitfinex, you need to pull out now because I have a bad feeling about what's going to happen with Bitfinex coming up in the next few weeks, months. I don't know, but it's about to implode. Let's just explain the story behind it. So if you haven't been following along, here's why this matters. Tether is a sole source cryptocurrency pegged to the US dollar. Bitfinex produces it, though they're cagey. Some would say outright lying at times about their level of involvement with it. The primary purpose of tethers is money laundering, even more so than cryptocurrency generally. Bitfinex was cut off from the U.S. financial system, which makes it impossible for them to clear USD-denominated wires. You may have to rewind this and play this again because there's a lot coming out through this. Their clients have around 400 million of USD on deposit with Bitfinex. So Bitfinex is an exchange, and they created a cryptocurrency called Tether, and it's supposed to be worth $1. Okay, and there's $400 million across all cryptocurrencies at Bitfinex right now. Okay, so their clients have 400 million of USD on deposit with Bitfinex. Their solution, issue a cryptocurrency, which is Bitfinex's solution. They're going to issue a cryptocurrency which is claimed to be 100% backed by US dollars and say that it is redeemable 1-to-1 for dollars. Okay. This is dangerous. Watch. We can't just actually physically give you the dollars, though. So they created a currency. Incredibly, this has worked so far. It's even worked on me, guys. Bitfinex has issued approximately $600 million in tethers, but all but 10 million or so in the last 6 months. So they've released almost $590 million in Tether in the last 6 months, guys. This is huge. When my economists are sitting here talking about money out of thin air, this is going to ruin the economy. You're right. Let me show you that. Let's talk about this. So 10 million or so in the last 6 months was released and dumped into the cryptocurrency market. They're useful on a handful of exchanges that accept them for the purpose of buying BTC and other cryptocurrencies. Tether claims that someone has stolen 5% or 5% or so of their 600 million tethers. That's what I was reporting on the other night. The digital claims, not the underlying dollars, just the digital tethers, not the dollars, okay? Sitting at their totally exist we promise bank account. So they're saying that they stole a whole bunch of money out of this totally existing bank account that Bitfinex is telling its customers. I'm putting quotes around that because it's lip service, okay? They've made a technological change to their Omni client, which is their Tether client, to disallow transactions on the stolen tokens. but there's no guarantee that they succeed in convincing all parties to use this update on their client to tell them that they can't use this money anymore. So this is a nightmare scenario for Bitfinex. This nightmare scenario is +1 because exchanges can say, well, actually, we rely on your money actually being money to list it here. So pick. We're either going to delist you or we don't. But we don't have any incentive to apply that patch that renders all of those tokens that they're saying have been stolen. They don't have any incentive to apply the patch. So what happened was the thief immediately exfiltrates to Bitcoin. Then suddenly 30 million hot tethers are contaminating the money stream at the exchange, and they cannot be conveniently disambiguated from clean tethers. So now dirty money has been mixed with clean money, and it's hard for us to figure out which is which because money is fungible. Okay? And we'll go over that as well, but fungibility is the biggest. It's such an important word, guys. And so, like, learn into that. Look up the definition of fungibility. It means that you could spend things and change it into other things, basically. So, because it's fungible, we couldn't figure out what the hot tethers were and what the dirty and what the legit tethers were when all 30 million hit the exchange. So, hilarity ensues. For values of hilarity, which probably mean bank run on a bank, which is structurally incapable of paying out most holders of money, Bitfinex's bank. So why does Bitfinex care whether their cryptocurrency is listed at other exchanges? Because they need to launder money to support their exchange business. Tethers are institutionalizing a sort of crypto hawala or crypto liberty reserve, allowing the physical transfer of real money to happen at legal remoteness to the cryptocurrency exchange. Okay, this is how the economics work, and I hope that if anybody's not being able to follow me right now, please send me a message. But if you are able to follow me, thank you so much for watching this because this is so important. Okay, because Bitfinex has an order book filled with something that people want: tethers. A way to get access to that order book is to say, Bitfinex, I want some tether. How do you sell them to me if you can't accept a wire? Bitfinex might say, are you a trustworthy U.S. venture capitalist? Spiffy. Move 20 million from your left-hand pocket to your right-hand pocket. The right-hand pocket is now ours. Here's $20. Here's $20 to $21 million in tether, which are good for BTC at your favorite exchanges. At the same time in the future, a trustworthy U.S. venture capitalist other than yourself is going to ask you to buy some tether from them at par value. You will do that and pay them from your right pocket. If a regulator asks you about this transaction, you bat your eyes and say, oh, sophisticated investors doing a cryptocurrency transaction, nothing to see here. Postscript. Is this good news for Bitcoin, guys? Oh, this is great news for Bitcoin. If you don't believe Bitfinex's $600 million in liabilities are worth a copper shilling, your only option for getting your value out of Bitfinex is to swap your liability for Bitcoin, which drives up the price of Bitcoin at the margin. And guys, I just want you guys to know that when I was talking earlier in the stream about Mt. Gox, this is what they did right before they imploded and took everybody's Bitcoins with them. So Bitfinex is following the footsteps of some very shady moves. And it's my prediction here within the next few weeks or the next couple months, Bitfinex is going to close. It's going to shut down. It cannot sustain all of this currency that it just created, that it just dumped into the economy. It cannot sustain it. The economy cannot sustain it. And also, it wasn't created with purpose. It was never created to end up being real. So because of that, that's something that we have to be aware of. And so I want you guys to end up making sure that you guys are staying aware of it. And that if you have any funds on Bitfinex right now, it would probably be wise for you to pull them out. Just because I don't know how much longer they're going to be around. Plus, there's plenty of other exchanges that are just as good as them that do the exact same things as them. So with that, I just wanted you guys to end up being aware of what's going on. Just because, Bitfinex is a huge exchange, and currently they're not even open to US customers. And it's because the US has barred them. And if you'll look deeper into the economics behind it, it's for a good reason. So what I'll say, guys, is that if you guys have any money in Bitfinex, I would be pulling out. If you have any money in Tether, I would be pulling out. So definitely, if you have any other questions about this, message me. I'm going to be logging off here in just a moment here, just because, I'm in the back of the car, and I can see that they're, I don't want to end up looking all suspicious here in the middle of the night just trying to get my stream going. You know what I'm saying? So with that, what I just wanted to say, guys, is that, if you have any questions about this, please reach out to me. We're not going to end up doing the question thing here tonight, but maybe tomorrow night. And, if you found value in what I'm talking about here, just make sure that you subscribe, turn on the post notifications, make sure you share this out with somebody, especially if you know anybody that has any funds in Bitfinex, any tethers. Just, go ahead and share with them some of this story about Mt. Gox. Look into Mt. Gox. Don't believe what I'm saying. Do your own research. Do your own homework. That was the first tip that we talked about in the stream here. And it's a great thing for all investors to do. Okay? So with that, guys, I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys the daily crypto news here. We try to do this every night at 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 5 o'clock Universal Time. And, I'll end up being here every night just reporting on this stuff. So, and the other cool thing is if you guys didn't get them, Genesis Mining open-ended contracts are still going on. So they are still open. I suggest buying them. Get some now. Go for it. So I don't know how much longer they're going to be around, and it's one of the best investment moves that I've made. So with that, guys, I just, thank you so much for anybody that's watching. Thank you so much for paying attention to this, and we'll be back tomorrow night for another episode of the Crypto News. All right, this is Sovereign Starseed signing off. Have a great night, humans.